Now, third class of the 9th of November, right? Now, I want to talk about wisdom group in this period because to tell you our conclusion first, Book of Kohelet and Book of Ben Sira and Wisdom of Solomon, those books were produced in this period when this Hebraism and Hellenism are clashing, they're conflicting, and I thought before my studying, I thought probably these Jewish people in those days, they are very traditional, very conservative, so it would threaten Jews to be exposed to that pagan Hellenism, so they would not accept all those Hellenistic movement. However, by contrast, those Jews are accepting and adopting, and they are making their survival in terms of their religious tradition. So I was surprised by that. How come they are integrating their own tradition with this new cultural influence? And in this time and at those scenes, I can find those activities of wisdom group. There are Hebrew sages. Traditionally, in the Old Testament period, there are scribes, and especially from Solomonic period, it is kind of ancient Renaissance. So, as you know, Solomon is the king of wisdom, and from that time, they try to write down their oral traditions and Mosaic law, and they are trying to record. So, Book of Proverbs, it is usually a collection of Solomonic proverbs, Solomonic sayings. However, later parts, some parts of the proverbs were edited by the people, by the servants of Hezekiah. So traditionally, throughout that history of Israelite kingdoms, there are some people who are expertising in writing the records, their traditions and teachings, and they're preserving them, and they're succeeding those traditions down to the descendants. So there are some group of wise people, and this, thanks to that wise people, they can survive in this throughout these Hellenistic waves. So Book of Kohelet, Ben Sira, and Wisdom of Solomon, it is written by these wise people who are accepting the new knowledge of Hellenistic philosophy, and they are integrating those new teachings into their traditional knowledge, and they are kind of innovating their religion and their theology. So it is very important. And I have written down this book, Development of Hebrew Wisdom Tradition and the Origin of Christianity. And in this book, I was searching for that Hebrew wisdom tradition. How come it is getting through that period of Hellenism, and how it makes its own way into the origin of Christianity. So by doing so, I'm trying to integrate the Old Testament and New Testament with this wisdom tradition. So not now, what I'm trying to tell you is that just one example. I'm making many examinations here, but one examination is those change of their knowledge on wisdom throughout the canonical wisdom literature and this apocryphal deuterocanonical wisdom literature. So kind of comparative study on wisdom hymns in canonical and apocryphal wisdom. For example, I trying to interpret chapter 28 of Book of Job. As you know, there is wisdom hymns, and here Job, after finishing his discussion with three friends, he just meditating on wisdom and how can we obtain the wisdom, and where is the way to the wisdom. He is keep trying to find out the way to wisdom and possessing the wisdom. But he confessed that we never know the way to wisdom, and only God knows the way, and God is the one, only one who possessed that wisdom. So that is why these wisdom hymns in the Book of Job, the conclusion is to fear of Yahweh. The only thing we can do is not possessing God's wisdom, but we just fear Yahweh. But it is the beginning of wisdom. To fear of Yahweh is the beginning of wisdom. So back to the traditional teaching in the Book of Proverbs. So here, the main feature, one of the features of wisdom in the Book of Job, chapter 28, is inscrutability, mystery. So we can see one of the canonical wisdom, the aspect of the wisdom is inscrutability. We do not know. Only God knows. That is the chapter 28 of the Book of Job. But now the next one, Proverbs. Proverbs chapter 8 verses 22 to 31. You know, in the Book of Proverbs, especially, it is woman wisdom tells about herself, and she describes that I'm the first way of God's creation, and I'm the one who was created before the creation of this world. So it is pre-existence of wisdom, and it is talking about her own way in creating this world. As you know, Proverbs 8:30, she said that I'm beside God, the Creator, who created this world, and even myself, I'm the kind of expert in creating this world. So it looks like wisdom, in certain way, she was participating in God's creation in the book of Proverbs chapter 8. So I am in kind of intertextual readings between Job 28 and this Proverbs chapter 8, and what is the similarities and differences. And the similarity, both canonical wisdom literature are talking about God's creation. And also Job 28, 25 to 27, it talks about wisdom which is participating in God's creation. And also book of Proverbs chapter 8, it also talks about creation. And she was there and also working as kind of creator. But the difference is that in Job 28, the wisdom was found in creation, the process of creation. But Proverbs chapter 8, it was already created. The wisdom was already created before God's creation. And the second difference, Job 28, wisdom is not found in human world. However, Proverbs 8, the wisdom is with the people on earth. And she really was pleased with being together with the sons of man, and she was very happy with those people on earth. So it is very interesting to see both aspects of wisdom, because Job 28, inscrutability of wisdom. But Proverbs being accompanied with the people. So it's kind of immersed into this world. Of course, Proverbs chapter 8 also talks about Creator God, and she was with Him. So it's kind of mysterious image of wisdom. Yet, chapter 8, she is, chapter 8, verse 31, she is there on earth with the people, and she is very happy along with the people and this world. It means we can find her in our life, in human relationship. So these various aspects of wisdom, we can find this canonical wisdom literature. Now we are going to the deuterocanonical apocryphal wisdom. That is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, verses 15 to 30. Here, wisdom describes herself as the source of wisdom. So, through her, every wisdom and every knowledge comes. And God Himself is the guide to wisdom. So if you know God, then you know the wisdom. And this wisdom covers every aspect of human knowledge. So it is a scientific knowledge, and also human mind, and various expertise and various knowledge are coming from herself. And it is also those beauties and those light in natural world, and also goodness of God all are related to this wisdom. And this wisdom is far superior, very far above that suns and stars. And this wisdom, we can overcome every kind of evil and wickedness. So this wisdom kind of everywhere. Here, this wisdom kind of ubiquitous. So very different from that canonical wisdom, because this wisdom is in every human life and every human knowledge. So why this wisdom of Solomon are coming from those Hellenistic world? And this especially the author of this wisdom of Solomon are one of the citizens in Alexandria. In that Hellenistic world, the most civilized city is that Alexandria. And the author of this wisdom of Solomon was there, and he really knew about every Hellenistic philosophical thoughts and streams. So, but he is very faithful to Hebrew wisdom tradition. So we can see kind of combination between that Hebrew wisdom and this Hellenistic wisdom. So here the wisdom is everywhere, where ubiquitous. And we are going to Ecclesiasticus, Book of Ben Sira, chapter 1, verses 1 through 10. Here now kind of different from that author in Alexandria, Wisdom of Solomon. Now here, this Ecclesiasticus, the author, not in Alexandria, that cosmopolitan area, but here in Jerusalem. And he talks about the importance to fear of Yahweh, and this is the beginning of wisdom. So very traditional teaching we can find here in the Ecclesiasticus. God is the source of wisdom, and God is the wisdom is the word of God. So this author of Ecclesiasticus emphasized the law of Moses, very traditional. And even he talks about the wisdom of God. It is given to those people who fear Yahweh. So it is very similar with Job 28, because it is talking about no people can possess wisdom. So Job 28, human beings, we never know the way to wisdom. So same thing is going on here. However, he really talks about being given wisdom by God, because as I already said, those who fear Yahweh, they can understand the wisdom. So this Ecclesiasticus chapter 1 is giving us the possibility to having to living with divine wisdom. But now we go to chapter 24 of Ben Sira, the same author, and here he really proclaims very important teaching, kind of premise, that is wisdom equal the law of Moses. That is Ecclesiasticus chapter 24 verse 23. So I can read it to you. Ben Sira, book of Ben Sira, chapter 24 verse 23. So it is very impressive in searching for wisdom tradition throughout this Hellenistic period. Here is kind of critical moment. That is Sirach 24, 23. All this is the book of the covenant of the Most High God, the law that Moses commanded us as an inheritance for the congregation of Jacob. So before this verse, he really mentions about all the wisdom, and in conclusion, he says that all of this wisdom is the book of the covenant of the Most High God, the law of Moses. So here you can see how the wise people are working on this wisdom tradition in encountering, in facing with that Hellenistic philosophy. So now they have found some important true words are going on, true thought are going on in the Hellenistic philosophy, and they see that truth is they do not know about the truth, but because in the Platonism and Aristotelian, they are describing the truth in many ways, but from the perspective of these Hebrew wise people, they see that the truth is Yahweh, our God, and they are expressing in different frames and different ways. So they want to integrate that philosophical frame and their emphasis on the truth with their Yahweh's faith, their Yahwehist religion. So their traditional teaching about the law of Moses, there is truth, and all those wisdom can be integrated into this truth of God. However, this Ecclesiasticus, the author of Ben Sira, very conservative, and he tries to tell all those wisdom teachings through this law of Moses. So it's kind of a jumping, kind of stretching. However, still it is very it complies with their traditional teaching, and which derived from that deformation of Ezra and Nehemiah. So they are trying to be traditional and conservative. But here, what I have found in this book is that the function of these wise people, sometimes very traditional and conservative in this book of Ecclesiasticus, and sometimes they are trying to integrate all those philosophical teachings of Hellenism with this traditional teaching. They are very open-minded, and sometimes, like Book of Kohelet, the author of our canonical wisdom, he trying to raise some questions and trying to find the truth. And finally, in conclusion, he really talks about the God above the heaven, above the sun. Now, with their efforts of integrating of their traditional religion with other philosophical thoughts, their wisdom tradition, their main line of their teaching are getting through. They are breaking through all those Hellenistic waves, and they are making their own way into the origin of Christianity. So, in this book, the later chapters, I'm talking about the origin of Christianity, and we can see, with Jesus is the teacher of wisdom, like his teaching on the mountains, or they are all of those teachings are like proverbs, and he really saying many parables. The heaven is like this, heaven is like this. That's all wise teachings. And Apostle Paul, he really talking about man wisdom, and Jesus is the wisdom. And his epistles are always related to these wisdom teachings. So this wise group of Hebrew literature, Old Testament books, they are really contributing to connecting and integrating the Old Testament and New Testament, and their theological way and their attitude to open those worldly teachings, and they have found some true moments, and they are using that philosophical frames in order for proclaiming the truth of God and the true wisdom. So, the final one is the fear of Yahweh. It is their ultimate teaching of God and trying to teach people. So this fear of Yahweh and also the creation theology are main themes of those wisdom literature throughout canonical and deuterocanonical. And that fear of Yahweh and with creation wisdom are coming into the New Testament. So the Gospel of John, chapter 1, it's really Logos Christology. That Logos Christology are very closely related to the book of Proverbs, chapter 8, about the Creator wisdom. And also book of Ben Sira, the law of Moses, the words of God. So all those Hebrew traditions and elements of wisdom are merging into that wisdom Christology and that wisdom teachings in the New Testament. Okay, this is the end of today's class. So by doing these lectures, now we are being ready to go to the Ben Sira and Wisdom of Solomon. And our third homework is to write the contributions of wise people in this period, in this Hellenistic period. How come that Hebrew wisdom teachers, how they are contributing to integration of the Hebraism and Hellenism. Okay, thank you. Next week we can see all of you in our Zoom class. Thank you. Bye.